It's October 17, 2017. I'm in the boat shed with my 1936 motor yacht Tortuga. Today I'm going to start working on some basic woodwork that needs to be done over the winter. I've got a few punky plank ends, 4 altogether, a spot where I'm going to have to put in a graving piece, and 1 plank to replace on the port side. So what I'm going to do today is tank out 3 plank ends up at the bow where I will scarf new wood into the existing planks to replace the punky plank ends. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and what I'm going to do is just show you that procedure in a series of short videos. I won't be videoing the actual work because that's kind of boring, but I will be stopping periodically and shooting a video to show progress and explain what I've done. Here's the setup in the area I'm going to be working in, right up at the bow. I've got a couple of objectives today. I've got punky planks right at the plank ends where they abut the stem. So what I'm going to be doing, I'll move in a little bit so you can see that better, is cutting out those planks back after the first frame after the stem. So I'll be replacing at least about 18 inches of plank in each case. But today is primary exploratory. I want to find out if the punky plank ends reflect any damage to the stem that has to be repaired, and basically just find out what needs to be done. So I'll be cutting out the 3 planks that you see there. Yesterday I came in with my sander and sanded off the paint over all the fasteners so that I would be able to find them, because I had a pretty good paint job on here. There's about 6 coats of paint you can see there, and so now I'm going to pop some fasteners and then start cutting. So the first step is to pop the fasteners out. Looking at the fasteners, half of them are bunged and half of the fasteners are covered with putty. I suspect that the fasteners under the putty are the original iron boat nails, and they're a bit more of a challenge to get out than the stainless steel screws that are underneath the bungs. Anyway, I'm going to get to it and I'll show you some more when I get the fasteners out. I got the fasteners out. Here are some of the iron boat nails. The ones up at the stem were pretty badly corroded and they mostly snapped off, although a few of them pulled out. But that's what 81-year-old wrought iron boat nails look like. They're hard to pull out, largely because they're very soft, and even when you get a nail puller on them, it just bends the head. So here we are, ready to make the cut and take off the first 18 inches or so. You can see the planks were really rotted up at the stem, and as soon as I get those out of there, I'll be able to find out if the stem itself is going to need any work. The little bit that I could feel where I completely removed the rotted plank seemed okay, but we'll find out in a minute. Right now I'm going to take my oscillating saw. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a line on there. I'm going to cut between that first frame after the stem and where I've got the fasteners exposed after that. Later on I may remove the planks further back. It just depends on what I find inside. Well, I've finished removing my plank ends, and the stem has got a little bit of punky wood, but it isn't bad. I'll probably just dig the punky wood out of the stem and fill it either with Dutchman or thickened epoxy. It won't take long. I didn't bring tools for either today. I'm also going to have to fill the fastener holes in the stem and in this frame so that I can put new fasteners in. And the next step is going to be to cut scarves into those 3 planks. Now normally when you're replacing plank ends like this, you would stagger the ends. If you're going to use butt blocks, you'd stagger them by 2 or 3 frames. So to say the top one might come back another 2 frames, middle one would stay where it is, and the bottom one would come back, say, 1 frame. And then I would put butt blocks in and put in 3 separate planks screwed to the butt blocks at the aft end and to the stem up forward. So what I'm going to do in this here is a little different. I'm going to cut a scarf into the existing plank. And then cut a matching scarf into my new plank end, and I will then epoxy and screw the new wood to the old wood. So when I'm finished, in effect, I will have a continuous plank all the way to the bow in each case. So in that respect, there's no need to stagger the joints because the epoxy joints are stronger than the wood. So I'll end up, in effect, with a continuous plank. So I'm pleased that there's very little rot in the stem, just a little bit of punky wood, maybe about a square inch, that I will dig out and probably either, as I said, put a Dutchman in or fill with thickened epoxy, whichever turns out to be more, easy basically. Because the stem, of course, is white oak, and it's going to be a little hard to find white oak around here. Surprisingly, in a wooden boat area like this, boat building wood is not easy to come by. Okay, so that finishes the project I wanted to do today, except for one thing. I have to clean up. Because I knew I was going to make a mess on this gravel floor in the boat shed, I put a tarp down to catch all the bad wood that I pulled out. And there it is. So I'll just pick that up, carry it over to the dumpster, and that will be the end of it. So I hope you enjoyed this beginning of a repair to some punky plank ends on my 1936 motor yacht, Tortuga.